ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः। अथ श्रीमद्भगवद्गीता पञ्चमोऽध्यायः। अर्जुन उवाच सन्न्यासं कर्मणां कृष्ण पुनर्योगं च शंससि यच्छ्रेय एतयोरेकं तन्मे ब्रूहि सुनिश्चितम्। श्रीभगवानुवाच सन्न्यासः कर्मयोगश्च निःश्रेयसकरावुभौ तयोस्तु कर्मसन्न्यासात् कर्मयोगो विशिष्यते ज्ञेयः स नित्यसन्न्यासी यो न द्वेष्टि न काङ्क्षति निर्द्वन्द्वो हि महाबाहो सुखं बन्धात् प्रमुच्यते साङ्ख्ययोगौ पृथक् बालाः प्रवदन्ति न पण्डिताः एकमप्यास्थितः सम्यक् उभयोर्विन्दते फलम् यत्साङ्ख्यै प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगैरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च यः पश्यति स पश्यति सन्न्यासस्तु महाबाहो दुःखमाप्तुमयो गतः योगयुक्तो मुनिर्ब्रह्मा न चिरेणाधिगच्छति योगयुक्तो विशुद्धात्मा विजितात्मा जितेन्द्रियः सर्वभूतात्मभूतात्मा कुर्वन्नपि न लिप्यते नैव किञ्चित् करोमीति युक्तो मन्येत तत्त्ववित् पश्यन् शृण्वन् स्पृशन् जिघ्रन् अश्नन् गच्छन् स्वपन् स्वसन् प्रलपन् विसृजन् गृह्णन् उन्मिषन् निमिषन्नपि इन्द्रियाणीन्द्रियार्थेषु वर्तन्त इति धारयन् ब्रह्मण्याधाय कर्माणि सङ्गं त्यक्त्वा करोति यः लिप्यते न स पापेन पद्मपत्रमिवाम्भसा कायेन मनसा बुद्ध्या केवलैरिन्द्रियैरपि योगिनः कर्म कुर्वन्ति सङ्गं त्यक्त्वात्मशुद्धये युक्तः कर्मफलं त्यक्त्वा शान्तिमाप्नोति नैष्टिकीम् अयुक्तः कामकारेण फले सक्तो निबध्यते सर्वकर्माणि मनसा सन्न्यस्यास्ते सुखं वशी नवद्वारे पुरे देहि नैव कुर्वन्न कारयन् न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते नादत्ते कस्यचित् पापं न चैव सुकृतं विभुः अज्ञानेनावृतं ज्ञानं तेन मुह्यन्ति जन्तवः ज्ञानेन तु तदज्ञानम् येषां नाशितमात्मनः तेषामादित्यवज्ञानं प्रकाशयति तत्परं तद्बुद्धयस्तदात्मानः तन्निष्ठास्तत्परायणाः गच्छन्त्य पुनरावृत्तिम् ज्ञाननिर्धूतकल्मषाः विद्याविनयसम्पन्ने ब्राह्मणे गविहस्तिनि शुनि चैव श्वपाके च पण्डिताः समदर्शिनः इहैव तैर्जितः सर्गो येषां साम्ये स्थितं मनः निर्दोषं हि समं ब्रह्म तस्मात् ब्रह्मणि ते स्थिताः न प्रहृष्येत् प्रियं प्राप्य नो द्विजेत् प्रियं स्थिरबुद्धिरसम्मूढः ब्रह्मविद् ब्रह्मणि स्थितः बाह्यस्पर्शेष्वसक्तात्मा विन्दत्यात्मनि यत्सुखं स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखमक्षयमश्नुते एहि संस्पर्शजा भोगा एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुं प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् So were you all able to follow the meaning as well while the thing was being chanted? Or do you want me to read the meanings again? So I'll read the meanings of the last few verses. The cycle of birth and death, samsara, is won over by those whose mind is rooted in the same, that is Brahman, here itself in this life. Since Brahman, that is free from any defect, is always the same, they, the wise people, abide in Brahman. Nirdosham hi samam Brahma, tasmat Brahmani te stitaha. The one who knows Brahman, who is established in Brahman, whose knowledge is firm, and who is free from delusion, does not rejoice over gaining that which is desirable and does not resent gaining that which is undesirable. The one whose mind is not attached to the external sense objects that contact the sense organs gains that happiness, fullness, which is in oneself. One whose mind is endowed with the knowledge of Brahman gains that happiness that does not wax and wane. Bahya sparsheshvasaktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham. Because those enjoyments that are born of contact between the sense organs and desirable objects are the sources of pain alone, and they have a beginning and an end, O son of Kunti, the wise person does not revel in them. And the one who is able to master the force born of anger and desire here in this world before release from the body is a karma yogi. That person indeed is a happy or a full person. So we'll go to the text.
You want me to, Dr. Brahmara? Or
I'm able to read today, Dr. Mara. If you are available tomorrow, maybe you can.
I will try tomorrow.
Not no bad. Don't worry. So this is what we did yesterday and day before, I think, right? Bahya sparsheshva saktatma vindatyatmani yat sukham. So Brahma Yoga. No, this is Ehi
To,
Samsparsha
to
Jab.
try with the
Ehi Samsparsha Jab Hoga Dukha Yonaya Evate Adyantavantah Kaunteya Nateshu Ramate Buddha. This is what we did yesterday.
yeah, we did that already. Yeah.
Because those enjoyments that are born of contact between the sense organs and desirable objects are the sources of pain alone and have a beginning and an end. O son of Kunti, the wise person does not revel in them. Desirable experiences cannot last. You've seen this. I think you've read this twice over, isn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Yeah. So, giving oneself to one's desires. Only when you begin to deal with your raga dveshas do you become an inquirer and a serious person, a seeker. So, that is the one of the first steps. Gurudev had said once in one of the in answer to one of the questions, what is the first step in spirituality? He said, do not blame yourself. That is the first step. And this again is one of the first few steps that one takes. That is, you start dealing with your ragadveshas. So I'll just read this part here. You may have 100 problems, but as long as you're ready to deal with them, there is no real problem at all. The person who deals with his or her problems already has a certain maturity, and the problems of such a person will resolve in time. But for the person who is given to the problems themselves, where is a chance for him or her to deal with them? If the problem engulfs you, the problem you think is bigger than you, then where is the solution for that person? And where is the maturity? But for the person who is, yeah, given to the problems themselves, where is the chance for him or her to deal with them? Giving oneself to one's desires is the real problem. And as Shankara says, is opposed to the pursuit of liberation, moksha. Kamaha Shreyo Marga Pratipakshi. This problem then is the one that is the most difficult to deal with. I'll read this. Kamaha Shreyo Marga Pratipakshi. So it is opposed to Shreya. Kama is opposed to the Shreya Marga. Being controlled by one's desires, kamas, is considered to be the most difficult problem. Shankara continues, because it becomes the cause for that which you do not want. Dukkha in all of its many forms. For example, if you lose your health due to your overindulgence of certain desires, you will also lose your money and a variety of other things in the process. Or losing your money, you may lose your health. And these karmas in the form of raga dveshas are not easy to eliminate. Durnivara. In other words, they are difficult to get in hand. Therefore, extra effort is required in order to bring about an antidote for karma, as Krishna refers to in the next verse. So, what we want to keep away from us is dukkha. But this karma is the one that is the cause for all the dukkhas. So, how do we get a hold or take care of this karma? It is easier said than done. Durnivara, in other words, they are difficult to get in hand. Therefore, extra effort is required. So, what is that extra effort that Krishna is telling us? Shaknoti haiva yasodhum praksharira vimokshanath kama krodhodbhavam vegam sayuktasya sukhi naraha. Yaha, the one who prak sharira vimokshanath, before release from the body, kama krodha udbhavam, born of anger and desire, vegam, force, iha eva, here itself in this world, sodhum, to endure, to master, shaknoti, is able, saha, he or she, yuktaha, is a karma yogi, saha, he or she, sukhi naraha, is a happy person. Yaha prak sharira vimokshanat कामक्रोध उद्भवं वेगं इह एव सोढुं शक्नोति सह युक्तः स सुखी नरः. The one who is able to master the force born of anger and desire here in this world before release from the body is a karma yogi. He or she indeed is a happy person. That is why a human birth is such a precious gift. Here, Krishna is saying that you do not control karma and krodha, desire and anger. Rather, you knock off the karma and krodha. I repeat this one. Krishna here is saying that you do not control karma and krodha. Rather, you knock off the kama krodha udbhavam vegam, the force born of kama and krodha. First, you should know how to take care of the force vega. Then you can take care of the desire, anger, and the pain that become the cause for that force. Behind every pain, there is an expectation. And unfulfilled expectation leads to anger, as we have seen. Kama and krodha have a certain sting, and by taking care of the force born of them, you remove their sting. Thus, one has to pay attention to kama and krodha. I will repeat this para again. So, Krishna is saying that you do not control kama krodha, rather, you knock off the kama krodha udbhavam vegam, the force born of kama and krodha. First, you should know how to take care of the force vega. Then you can take care of the desire, anger, and the pain that become the cause for that force. Behind every pain, there is an expectation. And, and unfulfilled expectation leads to anger, as we have seen. What you want to happen does not happen, therefore you are sad. What you don't want to happen happens, also you are sad. So it is your expectation of what needs to happen, what should not happen. So that leaves a sting, that leaves pain. Kama and krodha have a certain sting. And by taking care of the force born of them, you remove their sting. Thus, one has to pay attention to kama and krodha. The entire psychology of the Gita is in terms of ragas and dveshas, the management of one's likes and dislikes. By managing one's likes and dislikes, a normal person can overcome all the psychological problems that he or she may have. Such problems are natural. That one is angry is normal. That one has desires is normal. That one is subject to pain is also normal. This normal psychology is dealt with by the Gita in terms of likes and dislikes. Kama, desire, is a common word for both raga and dvesha.
Kama is purely a want. The thought process through which you desire an object, an end, is called kama. What a beautiful definition of desire. The thought process through which you desire an object, an end, is called kama. The desire can be either to gain something, raga, or to avoid something, dvesha, to retain something gained, or to get rid of something that one already has. This karma produces a certain force, certain symptoms, which are indicative of the virulence of desire. If these symptoms were not there, you would not know whether the karma was a binding desire or a non binding desire. So, this karma produces a certain force, certain symptoms, which are indicative of the virulence of the desire. If these symptoms were not there, you would not know whether the karma is a binding or a non binding desire. If a person has a desire that is not fulfilled and he or she does not get upset in the process, then that desire is a non binding desire. We are not dealing with non binding desires here. Here, we are dealing only with those that produce a force, vega. This vega is the outcome of desire and is something that indicates the virulence or the intensity of the karma, as well as the krodha, the anger, that results if the desire is not fulfilled. The vega, then described here by the expression kama krodha udbhavam vegam, the force that is released by or born of kama and krodha, is the ultimate object to be mastered. So, the kama krodha udbhavam vegam. It is not kama or krodha by themselves. It is the force that brings, that they carry. So that again translates to whether they are binding or non-binding desires. So as long as your expectations don't happen, the way you want them to, and you're still okay with it, then they are all non-binding desires. By desire, it's meant both raga as well as dvesha. So that is why, being a karma yogi, what do you take care of? You take care of the force. You're not sitting here getting rid of karma and krodha. It is impossible to get rid of karma as long as we have a human body, as long as we have the mind. There will be karmas sprouting up. And what is the definition of karma? It's the thought process that through which you desire an object. An end is called karma. Another important expression used in this verse is prak sharira vimokshanat. Prak means before. Vimokshana means release. And sharira is the physical body. Therefore, the expression means before release from the physical body. Before one dies away, then one is able to master sodhum shaknoti. This force born of kama and krodha. Krishna mentions this for two reasons. The first one being that if a person is able to accomplish this before he or she dies, then the person is a mature human being, Nara. And because he or she is mature, having mastered his or her own mind, the person is happy, sahasukhi. So that is why it is said earlier, moksha, liberation, is here and now. It is not after death. So while living in this human body, when we are able to have a say of this over this vega that the kama and krodha produce, that is why if you look at Gitopadesh, the picture that depicts Gitopadesh, you have the 5 horses which represent the 5 senses. And the reins that each of the horse has, and Krishna is holding the reins. Krishna represents buddhi, or a enlightened buddhi. He has a say over the horses. He is controlling the force there. So the force of the horses will be there. As long as there are horses, they will run. So as long as we have sense organs, they will run towards sense objects. But with an enlightened, with a viveka buddhi, you have to hold the reins, have a say on the force that these horses, when they contact the sense objects, bring about. That is where the karma comes in, right? Only when the sense organs get in touch with their respective sense objects. Raga, how does it start? When you see something, then you start wanting to have it. Or when you hear something, or when you feel, touch something. So basically, that is where the desire starts. Oh, I want to have it. I want to experience it. But while living in this body, or before getting released from this body, prak sharira vimokshana, having a say on the force that these kama and krodha produce, then you are getting rid of the sting that they produce. That is, you're living a life of karma yogi. Does anyone want to share before we go to the next paragraph?
Jai Gurudev, just wanted to share that Subhashitam which before also I had said. Asha ya ye dasaste dasaha sarvalokasya Asha yesham dasi tesham dasayate lokah. Those
Very beautiful.
people, those people who are the servants of their desires, they are the servants. And those who are having them in the control, the desires, for them the whole sarvaloka, the whole world is their servant.
Yeah. It's all about, very nice. Rather than fill our mind, our thought process with what will I get, or what should I get? What can I get for myself? All the while, what Gurudev says so beautifully is, let your mind be filled with noble thoughts. Thoughts of what can I do? What can I do for others?
And that pledge in Chinmaya mission, no?
Yeah.
Give more than you take. I mean,
Yes.
such profound every sentence there. And we are always, the moment we are born, we are always just give, take only.
Yeah.
Instead of giving,
So what about me is always, instead of from what about me to what can I do? There begins the journey of maturity. The beginning of maturity is to move away from being selfish to being selfless.
selfishness also makes us blind. We are not able to perceive others' pain and
Yeah.
suffering. The moment we have the knowledge, it turns into compassion. You feel a total different angle.
Yeah.
And I think that these all our Gurudev or Dalai Lama, whoever, they no doubt they have so much compassion. Just looking at their eyes only, we feel. Mhm.
So born of what is this? Kama and Krodha, born of what do I say that?
They're born of Ragadveshas.
Ragadveshas, right? Yeah. So born of desires, right? So then you wanted Vimokshana. This is before we leave the body to leave this Kama Krodha part. That's it. What Sodum Saknoti.
Yeah, to release before you leave the body. Prak Sharira Vimokshanat. So before one leaves the body, one who's able to master Sodum Shaknoti, this force born of Kama and Krodha. Krishna mentions this. Then the person is a mature human being, Nara. Isn't it? I mean, if you have in your kitty only non-binding desires, where is the bondage?
Right.
Whether it happens or doesn't happen, you're still happy. With or without, you're in that wow space. That's why the word WOW, wow, is such a beautiful thing. It represents your state of mind.
Right.
You're in a constant state of amazement, of happiness, of fulfillment, contentment. As also it leads the path that leads to this wow state. With or without, I am happy. The
Right.
WOW. It's a nice word to remember.
The Vimokshanat?
No, I'm talking of wow.
Oh,
The word wow. The word wow
right.
is very good for us as speakers to remember, because with or without your ragas being
I
fulfilled,
see. Wow.
with or
Okay.
without your dveshas being taken care of, with or
Right.
without, you are still happy. You're happy by yourself.
Right.
Again, converting every question into an exclamation.
Yeah.
Question comes when your expectations don't happen, then what you have, you are in a constant question state. Why did this happen? And that why takes you into all the negativity, krodha, and all of that, right? So the question being converted into an exclamation. Oh, wow, this has happened. Then you're releasing yourself. That force, that vega of the kama and krodha, you're releasing by using your exclamation, using your prasada buddhi. When you take everything as prasada, then there's no question of question being there. It's only exclamation, it's only gratitude. Even if you're going through some challenges, taking that as prasada, rather than fight them, rather than say, oh, why me? Everybody else is happy. Why did this happen to me? Then you're stuck in your question. You're entangled in that question. We move further. The definition of adulthood. It seems to me that human life is divided into two activities. One is to gather all sorts of nonsense as a child, and the other is to learn how to manage them all. Somewhere along the way, you are able to realize that what you had gathered as a child has nothing to do with what you are now. Only the person who realizes this and then addresses the problems that arise can be called Nara. Until then, the person is still a child. Therefore, I would say that if a person is able to master the force born of desire and anger, he or she has made it as an adult human being. I would say that he is a Sukhi and also a Karma Yogi, because to master the Vega of Kama Krodha requires a certain attitude. Maturity also implies expressing one's free will in its highest form, meaning that one can voluntarily appreciate and offer prayer. Prayer and a prayerful attitude are the expressions of a mature will. In fact, they are based on will alone. No one is driven to prayer. You are driven to prayer in a moment of distress. The will is expressing in its highest form. In the act of prayer, you do not see the one to whom you pray. Ishvara is nowhere around. All you see are the contending forces that you have to deal with. Therefore, if in the process of living, a person is able to appreciate an Ishvara and offer a prayer to him, that person becomes a karma yogi. Without this, the kama krodha udbhavam vegam is not easy to master. This particular religious conversion, as it were, has to take place in the person and is what is implied here by the word yukta, meaning yogi. And this karma yogi, this mature person who is able to master the force born of desire and anger, is a happy person. Sa sukhi naraha. I will read this paras again, this whole section again. The definition of adulthood. It seems to me that human life is divided into two activities. One is to gather all sorts of nonsense as a child, and the other is to learn how to manage them all. Somewhere along the way, you are able to realize that what you had gathered as a child has nothing to do with what you are now. Only the person who realizes this and then addresses the problems that arise can be called Nara. This, all the vasanas can be bundled up into this. All the preconditions that we grow up with. And the vasanas, of course, not just in this life, previous life as well.
Brahmaraji, thoda or could you please explain little more this paragraph, please, once
Yeah.
again?
So it seems to me that human life is divided into two activities. One is to gather all sorts of nonsense as a child. What I like to do, what I don't like to do. Children, they grow up with their own sets of inhibitions. And that is affected by what? By the vasanas of the previous life, whatever the vasanas we have collected over lifetimes. So that is one aspect. One is we are driven by vasanas and by what we gather during our childhood, likes and dislikes. And the other is to learn how to manage them all. And the other aspect of living, of human life, is how to go about having a say over these vasanas. See, we are endowed with an intellect, unlike animals. Animals have no intellect, so they just behave out of their instinct. Just, it's only vasana driven. If a dog sees a cat, the dog gets very excited and runs after the cat. So that is it. No matter when, where, what, that is what will happen. Of course, there are exceptions. Unless, like my friend had both a dog and a cat as pets, that is different. They get conditioned to living together. But naturally, in a natural state, the dog behaves out of its own instinct. So that is one way of living. That is like a child way of living. You're just driven by your vasanas. The other aspect of human life is about having a say on these vasanas, having to manage them. That is, you're not letting them affect your mental state. somewhere along the way, you are able to realize that what you had gathered as a child has nothing to do with what you are now. You may have picked up some vasanas along the way in your childhood, but that has nothing to do with what you are now. What example can we give? Like, for example, as a child, you cried when you didn't get your lollipop that you wanted.
Or
So,
any toy. Yeah.
or any toy. So as you grow up, you realize that that is not, there's nothing to do with what you are now. So you've kind of grown. But then what remains is what? That want is still remaining. So only the person who realizes this and then addresses the problems that arise can be called Nara. So being aware of this mechanics of how desire sprouts, how expectations sprout, how our behavior is controlled by our thought processes, our past impressions. All children, more or less, are OCDs. They have OCD as they grow up. They want things done their way. Otherwise, they get into a temper tantrum, right? Now, can you continue that into adulthood? For some, it continues, so they remain children throughout. That stubbornness that they want what they want. That's it, period. But if you have turned your eyes towards maturity, the other way of living, being an adult, is where you realize, Array, that attitude I had as a child, but it has nothing to do with what I am now. With an intellect which is opening up to this knowledge. If I continue to live my life like a child, I would go nowhere. By the time I release the body, I leave the body, I would have not grown at all. I will still remain a child. Child in the sense childish. I will not call child as an innocent child. Your child means holding on to those immaturity. Yeah.
Very beautiful. Thank you so much. Dhanyavad.
But until then, the person is still a child. That is why they say, psychologists say, depends on where you are stuck in life. Sometimes you may have grown in age, but you may still be childish within, or you may be stuck in a teenage. So growth as an adult, physical growth, alongside that, mental maturity is what makes a person a true adult. Otherwise, a person may just grow in age, grow in height and weight, but mental maturity, if it is stuck in childhood or in teenage, then there is no growth. He cannot be called an adult. Therefore, I would say that if a person is able to master the force born of desire and anger, he or she has made it as an adult human being. So this is the Gita definition of an adult, where you're able to master the force born of desire and anger. I would say that he is a Sukhi and also a Karma Yogi, because to master the Vega of Krama Krodha requires a certain attitude. So Swamiji is giving that person not just an adult, but the term is Karma Yogi. Maturity also implies expressing one's free will in its highest form.
What is Vega means? Like, it's a desire.
Force.
Force. Okay.
The force. Force. Vega is force.
Not hearing anything, so.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything.
Okay,
I was
sorry.
taking a water break.
No
Just
problem.
taking some water. So, maturity also implies expressing one's free will. Now, this is the other understanding. We'll see what this is. Maturity also implies expressing one's free will in its highest form. See, this is what we are given. No? Human beings are endowed with a free will. Animals don't have a free will, they function only by instinct. They're driven by instinct. Whereas human beings have the free will, and maturity implies expressing one's free will in its highest form, meaning that one can voluntarily appreciate and offer prayer. So, Swamiji is turning it towards prayer now. Prayer and prayerful attitude are the expressions of a mature will. In fact, they are based on will alone. A dog cannot be a karma yogi. A dog cannot pray. So, prayer is something that is the highest expression of will, of free will. Our Purushartha is what? Purushartha is born out of free will. So, no one is driven to prayer. You are driven to swear, to cry, and to do varieties of things. But you can never be driven to prayer. Even if one prays in a moment of distress, the will is expressing in its highest form. So, what does this mean? You are driven to swear, to cry, and to do varieties of things. That happens naturally. See, for example, if a dog, again, I don't know why the dog example is coming up today, but if the dog is irritated, what does the dog do? The dog will not sit and pray. The dog will retort, will react, may become aggressive. That is what is a natural tendency. Instinctive behavior is what you is reactive. Reactive behavior is instinctive behavior. Whereas responsive behavior is a manifestation of the use of your free will. You're responding to a situation rather than reacting. So, response implies use of being mature. So, therefore, you are driven to swear, to cry, to do varieties, but you can never be driven to prayer. Instinctively, one doesn't pray. Therefore, all the animals, they have no sense of prayer, of surrender, isn't it? If you contrast humans to animals. But are we a human in a human form, or are we an animal in a human form?
That's a good question, right?
Isn't it? So the
Some
more and more we are reactive, the more and more we are coming from our base instincts. We are stuck in the animal form. Animal, we are animals in a human form. Whereas the more we are responsive, the more we are um, prayerful, the more we use our free will. If the free will is very mild and very thin and thinned out and it has no expression of itself in our psyche, then our human life is a wasted life. Whereas if we nurture the free will, we let it grow and let it grow positively. We can use our free will both ways, no? A terrorist or a saint, both are using their free will. One is doing it completely the opposite of, he's doing everything towards destruction, whereas a saint is doing something, he's using his free will for evolution. So once we nurture the free will and let it grow positively, then that is using our free will. Otherwise, then we are humans in human form. If in the act of prayer, you do not see the one to whom you pray. Ishvara is nowhere around. Isn't it? I mean, of course, you may argue saying, oh, we have an idol. But what is that reverence, that connect that you have with the idol? You will not use the idol as a football. Never would you do that, right? So you give that little reverence to that idol, that is either Ganesha or Krishna or whatever. So all you see are the contending forces that you have to deal with. Therefore, if in the process of living a person is able to appreciate an Ishvara and offer a prayer to him, that person becomes a karma yogi. Without this, the kama krodha udbhavam vegam is not easy to master. That is why now now at least I'm able to understand a little bit of why a karma yogi, why it is important for a karma yogi to recognize Ishvara. Because unless you recognize Ishvara, you are not prayerful. And unless you are prayerful, how are you using your free will to the highest possible extent?
So this prayer, can we kind of um, expand on that, Dr.
Which
Ram?
one? Which one?
Like when we say prayer or prayerful
Huh.
attitude, you can think in your mind or in the manas that you pray or chant or something, but then I mean it becomes like a lazy even compared to my mother or grandmother or their your household, like when you seen your how they used to pray, like they wash all the lamps and everything, and clean the house. I mean, which is really needed only. It's not that they take the special effort in doing all that. Nowadays, even lighting one lamp is become a big chore sometimes. So, is this something? I mean, I just meant to say prayerful attitude is like when we are doing with each activity, even that you think of as Ishvara, and we are use.
Correct. Your prayer is not just ritualistic prayer. What you
Okay.
were talking about, how the older generation did, that of
Yeah,
course is included. It's not, you're not excluding ritualistic prayer here. That is
yeah.
part and parcel of the discipline, that you discipline the mind and body. But what we're
Mm.
talking here is prayer as an attitudinal shift in the mind, where you recognize there is a higher power that is giving you the results, that you are not in control of the results of your actions.
Mm.
You are not the author of the results. So there is a higher power, and with that prayerful attitude, you are surrendering to that power.
Right.
So it's an attitudinal shift. The prayer here is meant is an attitudinal shift. And that is the highest form of use of your free will. You're using your free will, right? So supposing you wanted, okay, let's take, you wanted to eat masala dosa, and
Mm.
that is what you wanted, but you did not get to eat it. You remained hungry. For whatever reason, you did not get. Now, you can throw up a tantrum like a child,
Yeah.
because you are instinctively, you're driven to frustration, anger, and you say, oh, I'm so hungry, I wanted to eat and I don't have it, and you kick up a tantrum. Or you can use your free will and then be prayerful and say, oh, this is it,
It's
this is
available.
what I will take as prasada.
Mm.
So what, I will remain, prayerful.
Mm-hmm.
May not be the best of examples, but what I meant to say was it is an attitudinal shift.
Right. Hmm. Okay, got it.
You didn't get masala dosa. Maybe you got some fruit. Be happy with that fruit.
Mm.
So very often, see, when people go to Gurudev and he's
Mm.
giving away fruit, and this happened to me actually when I first met Gurudev. So he
Mm.
had a basket of fruit that had
Mm.
all kinds of fruits. It had apples, pomegranates, those little bananas. And then I found that people were asking, "Oh, give me apple, give me pomegranate." So what is happening? It's the child coming up, your
Yeah.
raga coming up. You are able to make a distinction over there in the basket of fruit, and you have gravitated to one particular fruit because of your raga.
Mm.
But a person who is in a state of doesn't matter what I get, I'm
Mm.
going to be happy with it, is a mature, is an adult, isn't it? So there is a sense of maturity in accepting whatever we have been given. Whereas there is a sense of being childish when you complain. So every time we complain, we are being a child. C for C and A for A. When you accept, you're an adult. I think this is nice. I think we can remember this. This just came up right. So when you complain and you're crying, all the C's that have a negative connotation, you are being childish. You have not grown. There's no maturity. Whereas when you accept and you take it with a smile, take it with a prayerful attitude, then you are an adult. In the
Okay,
true,
Gurudev.
yeah.
Gurudev had given that beautiful example once, right? And on the plane when he was there, the cold food because the oven was not working. They
Mm,
were all offered the cold food. And there was one passenger who made the hell out of that food.
mm.
So instead of, so that maybe he's a child, a
Yeah, of
little
course.
kid in the form of an adult.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense why we have all these processes, although I don't want to discuss the processes, but we have this complaining process. We have the praising process. Complain. When you with awareness, you can't really complain. You're not, that we'll take that another time. But basically, remaining complaining, that is, then, we're able to connect the dots. Complaining may be of a situation of a person, but you may also complain about yourself. You may be not happy with yourself, not approve of yourself. Then you become a Atmaglani. Paraglani or Atmaglani makes you a child. Child in the sense childish, no maturity. Whereas when you take everything as prasada, when you're in that just state of acceptance, that is why this beautiful meditation that we were doing, acceptance meditation, where you're just accepting everything. Meditation is accepting every moment. Just imagine how beautiful life is. There is no grumble, there's no complaint, there is no anger. All the negative spiral just gets eliminated. And this force that raga and uh, the kama and krodha have is contained just by that accepting, being prayerful. So we'll stop here. 6:02 already. So with this, without this kama krodha udbhavam vegam is not easy to master. This particular religious conversion, as it were, has to take place in the person and is what is implied here by the word yukta, meaning yogi. And this karma yogi, this mature person who is able to master the force born of desire and anger, is a happy person. Sasukhi naraha. And we'll do the next tomorrow. Karma Yoga and Knowledge, Reflect and Order.
This seems like a long verse, I think.
Is it a long verse? The necessity for alertness. Yeah. What is
No,
self
it's like,
mastery? Problems must be addressed.
yeah,
Correct. It has run through 2 or 3 pages.
yeah,
No worries. We'll go. See,
yeah, yeah.
again, it is not about finishing the Gita, it is about how much of it we are able to assimilate
Right, right. But
and
I'm
use and implement.
right.
Assimilate is one. You might assimilate the knowledge, but if there is no translation into your daily activities, into a change in the attitude in our mind, then
Yeah,
again we are stuck. We are not growing.
yeah,
So,
the antidote,
translating it.
antidote for this karma.
Yeah.
You have to see, know what it is.
Yes.
That's what. Okay.
So we'll
So
stop there.
yeah, I'll try and do it tomorrow. Hopefully I can do it.
Today is actually our wedding anniversary, and to
Oh,
2019, on this particular day, we were
mm,
actually in Kailash. We were in Manasarovar. It was a full moon that day.
nice.
And yesterday, my friend who came with us, who we teamed up to go to Kailash, was saying a
Mm,
beautiful another coincidence was the first time we all did. I think Bela, you were also there in the Gulf Special Advanced course in Bangalore.
mm,
I think she
Yes.
was saying August 12th we were there in the ashram doing the advanced course together, and we met Gurudev.
mm,
So nice, beautiful coincidence.
nice.
Yeah.
Happy wedding and
Shubhamangal Subhashaya Brahmaraji
Yeah,
Prem
thank
Bhaiya.
you. Thank you.
Biology, can you sing that Chinmay the singer song for wedding anniversary? You
Yeah,
did tell me
Yeah,
I will
just
sing. Yeah, I will also
yeah.
sing.
that's nice.
Vivahadinamidam Bhava. You can get the wordings, Bela. I'll wait for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Let me give yeah, to
Actually, Swami Tejomananda has composed beautiful um, couplets for the New Year greetings, for wedding anniversaries, for birthdays.
Yeah. Since we've been doing it in our group, I've been sending it in our family. Recently one of my cousin had 50th wedding anniversary. I sent it to her.
Right.
It's nice to
It's
remember.
nice. So, with respect to translation of this knowledge, what I have decided, I'm just sharing with our nice little cozy group, is
Mm,
relationships are also so delicate. We'll have to nurture them,
right,
respect and nurture them. So, I have taken this sankalpa that with respect to my husband, I will not take him for granted. I will nurture that relationship for it to evolve into both getting, having to work towards our highest potential. So, when that is the goal, then all these small little imperfections don't bother. So, Sankalpa is not to complain, to accept more.
very nice.
are you all able to see? We all will sing together.
Yeah, yeah, we're able to
Are
see.
you all able to see the
Yeah, yeah,
lyrics?
we're able to see. 1 second, I'll just go to Prem. He's also there. He can also listen to this. Yeah, let's start.
Yeah.
Viv-
Please. Yeah.
Vivahadinamidam
Dinamidam
bhavatu
bhavatu
harshadam
harshadam
mangalam
mangalam
tatha
तथा
vangshakshemadam
वाक्क्षेमदम्
pratidinam tam
विवाह
premavardhata
प्रेमवर्धकम्
शतगुणं
शतगुणम्
कुलं सदा हि
सदा
मोदतम्
मोदतम्
लोकसेवया
मया देवपूजनम्
देवपूजनम् गृहस्थजीवनम्
गृहस्थजीवनम्
भवतु मोक्षदम्
मोक्षदम् विवाहदिनमिदं भवतु हर्षदम् मङ्गलं तथा वाञ्चक्षेमदम् प्रतिदिनं नवं प्रेमवर्धतम् शतगुणं कुलं सदा हि मोदतम् लोकसेवया देवपूजनम् गृहस्थजीवनं भवतु मोक्षदम् भवतु मोक्षदम्. The tune
very,
I'm not
very beautiful. Yeah.
Mangal Shubhashaya.
Thank you
You
so
have
much. It was
always, both
beautiful.
of you have always been inspiring for all of us.
Hari Om, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Belaji.
Belaji and everybody else is also there.
And Sudhir.
Very
And
happy.
We
everyone.
all,
Yeah.
yes,
Dr.
we
God,
all,
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
you
So
have
we'll-
always been an ideal for us.
So we'll
Gurudev blessings in abundance.
Yeah. Jai Gurudev.
Jai
Om
Gurudev.
Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev. Thank you all.